Are you ready to be terrified? Aliens have been a source of fascination, fear, and horror for centuries. And when it comes to alien abduction stories, there are few things more spine-tingling. From spooky encounters in the middle of the night to mind-bending experiments, these 7 tales of alien abduction are some of the scariest of all time. In this video, we'll explore the mysterious and sometimes horrifying world of alien abduction, including stories of alien experimentation, abduction in the night, and even a tale of alien abduction from the 1800s. Welcome to our channel, InWonder. Before we start, subscribe to our channel for daily uploads and more fantastic videos for this list. Get ready to be scared. Number 7. The A70 Incident. On the evening of August 27, 1992, about 11:30 p.m., ambulance technician Gary Wood and his buddy Colin Wright were driving from Edinburgh to Terrabrooks when they encountered a terrible occurrence on the A70. They claimed to have seen a dish-shaped UFO larger than the width of the road as they drove by the Harperry Reservoir on their way to deliver a satellite system to a friend. It was not a plane or a chopper, they claim. When they saw a dazzling wall of light in front of their car and a mysterious black object in the sky, the two men were taken aback when they approached the light and saw their vehicle was now facing the wrong way. Under hypnotic suggestion, Wood and Wright claimed that the drive towards the light caused them searing pain, and that aliens pulled them aboard their ship for a strange investigation, all while the clock in the car mysteriously lost an hour. Number 6. John Day Family Abduction. John Day's story is a common one among people who claim to have had encounters with UFOs and aliens. According to his account, he and his family were driving home from an evening out on a typical weeknight in 1974. However, when they arrived home, they realized that the drive had taken much longer than it should have. Despite this strange occurrence, Day didn't immediately seek answers. Instead, it wasn't until the rest of his family started having bad dreams that he began to investigate what had happened. Eventually, Day decided to seek answers through hypnosis. During hypnosis, Day remembered that as they drove home, they had driven through a mysterious fog and had seen a bright light shoot up through the roof of the family car and into a spaceship. Day had no memory of the intervening years between the drive home and the hypnosis session, other than this and a few other vague impressions. Number 5. Whiteley Strieber's Communion. Whitley Strieber's 1987 nonfiction book Communion tells the story of his experiences with the unknown, specifically an incident that occurred on December 26, 1985 at his cabin. According to Strieber, he and his family were spending the holidays at their cabin in the woods when strange things began to happen. He experienced time loss, lack of sleep, and encounters with tall, pale, black-eyed aliens. In the book, Strieber describes the aliens as the guests rather than the stereotypical term aliens. He writes in great detail about the times he met these beings, including how they looked and how they talked to him. He also describes how these encounters affected him emotionally, physically, and psychologically. The book sparked a great deal of debate when it was released, with many people questioning the veracity of Strieber's claims. Some critics said that the events in the book were the result of sleep disorders or hallucinations, while others thought that Strieber had really met aliens. After Communion came out, Strieber wrote several other books about UFOs and aliens. The Wolfing, which is considered to be one of his best-known works, is one of those books. Eventually, the book was turned into a major motion picture, which increased the popularity of the story, and it is considered to be one of the most popular books on the subject of UFOs and alien encounters. Number 4. The Clayton and Donnelly Abductions. The story of a Texas couple who claims to have been repeatedly abducted by aliens is a common one among people who believe in UFOs and extraterrestrial life. According to the couple, both of them have said that aliens have taken them more than once. Clayton Lee says that he had his first experience when he was a small child, which makes things even worse. Donnelly, the other member of the couple, asserts that even her unborn child was taken from her, without her consent, when she was in an abortion clinic. This traumatic experience has left both of them constantly on edge and worried that they'll be kidnapped again. In an effort to share their story and raise awareness about their experiences, the couple has gone on television shows like The O'Reilly Factor on Fox News. Clayton Lee said that on one of these occasions, he met people who looked like humans but were actually tall, thin, and blonde. He reported that these beings were not hostile, but were curious about him. Number 3. Mrs. G's peculiar stories. Mrs. G is a woman who claims to have had an encounter with aliens in 1965 while doing laundry in her backyard. According to her account, she was working in her backyard when a brilliant blue light appeared above her and seemingly snatched her away into an alien spaceship. She described the experience as feeling like she was being lifted off the ground and into the light. Once on board the spaceship, Mrs. G claimed to have seen 3 mysterious people in metallic, reflecting costumes. She described them as humanoid in appearance, but with elongated heads and large, almond-shaped eyes. They communicated with her telepathically and seemed to be conducting experiments on her. During the experience, Mrs. G felt a sudden, intense pain in the base of her skull, which she described as feeling like a needle being inserted into her brain. She felt disoriented and scared, and the aliens eventually returned her to her backyard. However, she returned home many hours later without having completed her laundry. After the incident, Mrs. G felt a deep sense of fear and confusion. She didn't tell anyone about her experience for fear of being ridiculed or not being believed. However, many years later, she decided to come forward and share her story. Number 2. The Manhattan Transfer Abduction. In 1989, Linda Cortile Napolitano claimed to have been abducted by aliens while living in a high-rise building in New York City. According to her account, she was taken from her bedroom in the middle of the night by a group of small, gray extraterrestrial beings. Napolitano said she had recently had surgery on her nose, but she couldn't remember what was done. She also showed a fresh bulge in the area of her nose as proof of the surgery. She also says that 2 bodyguards who said they worked for the United Nations saw her being taken away. The 2 men apparently had psychotic breakdowns in the days following the incident. Napolitano was adamant that she had been taken inside a UFO that looked like a clam and had strange metal tools inside. She described the aliens as having large, almond-shaped eyes, gray skin, and small pointed ears. They communicated with her telepathically and conducted various medical experiments on her. After the abduction, Napolitano reported feeling traumatized and confused. She had trouble sleeping and experienced nightmares and flashbacks. She also said that she had lost a few hours of time, which she said was because the aliens had erased her memory of being taken away. Number 1. The Travis Walton Abduction. Travis Walton and his co-workers were out in the forest in Arizona, cutting and clearing trees for a logging company. It was a typical autumn day. The leaves had started to change color, and the air was crisp and cool. They had been working hard all day and were looking forward to heading home. As the sun began to set, the team decided to take a break and grab some lunch. As they were eating, one of the workers pointed out a bright light in the sky. At first, they thought it was a plane or helicopter, but as it got closer, it became clear that this was no ordinary aircraft. It was a large, disc-shaped object, hovering silently in the sky. Travis and his co-workers were in awe as they watched the UFO slowly descend towards them. As it got closer, they could see that it had strange symbols and markings on its surface. The UFO suddenly let out a bright blue light that surrounded Travis and pulled him toward it. His co-workers were horrified as they saw their friend being taken into the UFO. They tried to run after him, but the light was too intense and they were forced to shield their eyes. When the light faded, Travis was gone and the UFO disappeared into the sky. For the next 5 days, a massive search party was launched to find Travis. The police, FBI, and even the military were involved in the search. However, no trace of Travis was found, and then on the 6th day, he reappeared, dazed and confused, with no memory of where he had been or what had happened to him. He showed a fresh scar on his chest, which he couldn't explain, and he felt a deep sense of fear and confusion. These stories of alien abductions are among the most well-known and controversial in history. They all have things in common, like missing time, strange scars and effects on the body, and meetings with aliens, While some people believe that these experiences are real encounters with extraterrestrial life, others argue that they are the result of psychological conditions or hoaxes. No matter what you believe, these stories continue to fascinate and intrigue people all over the world, and they remind us of how much we don't know about the world outside of our own. What do you think? Please let us know in the comment section. Stay tuned with us for more interesting videos.